So here's the code I downloaded off the Google website for the GPS logging. So here we see we have the three libraries we have to include. Thankfully, these are all included in a standard installation of Arduino, so we don't have to worry about it. And we see that this example is using software serial and the SparkFun GPS to write NEMA GPS code. And as it says here, it's very important that we're in D-line mode, not UART. So if we scroll on down here, we see that we're using pins 2 and 3, which is the RX pin and the TX pin for software serial that we're going to be using. And then right here we have the GPS baud rate, which is used to determine the speed that the GPS is going to be talking to us. And here I set up a software serial line, and I'm naming it GPS serial. I'm giving it my RX pin, my TX pin. This will enable us to talk to the GPS. So now that we're in the setup loop, I have my serial begin, so this way we can communicate with the computer. And then we also GPS serial to begin, so we can communicate with the GPS. So we're using the same communication protocol to talk to the GPS as we do to talk to our computer, as we usually do. Okay, so then in this little block here, I'm checking to see if the SD card is working or not. So I say initialize an SD card, and I say if the SD card did not begin. So if that returns a false, then I'm going to present card failed. If not, then I'll say card initialized. So we'll see that when you start it up for the first time. So now every time we loop, it's going to be, everything is within this if statement. So if the GPS is available, so if I can read from it, and it reads $GPGGA. And that's like a standard line that the GPS is going to start with. So I only want to capture lines with that information. So once I do capture it, I'm going to go ahead and open up a new SD card text file called datalog. So SD open datalog text file, right? So this is all from the SD card library that we included above. I get some character because I'm going to read from the GPS one character at a time. And then I'm going to print the line that I just stole from it. So now I'm writing back to the SD card, $GPGGA. Also, I'll put that to the serial port so we can see it on our computer. And then I have a do while loop. We never really talked about these in the course. I encourage you to look them up. It's just like a while loop, except we execute the code before we check the while condition. So here I say if the GPS is available, read the next character from the GPS, and write that character to the SD card, and also write it to the serial monitor on the computer. And then again, I'm just repeating this loop until C is the next line character. So then once I get to that next line character, it tells me that the GPS string is done. And then I go ahead and print I print my own next character on the data file and serial port. And then most importantly, I close the data file when I'm done with it. But I'm just going to open it right back up if there's more information to be gathered. So it's continually opening and closing, capturing the GPGGA strings. And that's how the GPS code works. Now let's go ahead and let Daniel show us an example of it working.